Good morning, Unity. Happy snowy Sunday. It's April after all. We live in central New York. I guess we should be used to it. It's still a little disappointing after that spring weather, though, isn't it? I know. Everything in turns. So do we have announcements going on? I know there's a couple people who have things to share. Nancy, you're up first.
Okay, some of you, quite a few of you, have already volunteered to help with the open house on May 16th. Mark, Wildman, Deb Warner, and I have been working diligently and excitedly, I think, to get this planned out. And we so appreciate you all. I had said, and I was a little too ambitious, that we were going to do training today. No, we're not. We're not quite ready for that. However, I do really want to meet with anybody who would like to somehow help with the open house. It doesn't even have to be that particular day. There's lots to get done. And so after service, if you see me, I've got my little list and you can tell me what you would really like to tackle. I so appreciate that. And Byron, I so appreciate you handing out the flyers and Jacob for getting those printed out and putting the, it's an R, what's the word? It's not a rendition, the rendering behind the words of the church. I love how it turned out. So please, don't just take them home and sit on it. Post them somewhere, get the word out to anybody and everybody. It's going to be worth it to share this awesome building. And really, the open house is not about unity. It's about the building and the fact that we are on the National Register of Historic Places now, which is so cool, right? Yes. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Jacob.
I think that would be Leland next, talking about our tithes.
Just want to announce that last month, for the month of March, we paid $1,054 in tithes.
Wow.
So that's absolutely phenomenal. That went to Unity Worldwide Ministries headquarters, Fillmore Faith, Eastern region of the Silent Unity, to the Interreligious Food Consortium, and Unity on Maui.
And if there aren't any more announcements from our community members here, we will pass this to Patsy to lead us in prayer into this morning service.
We honor and bless all of the prayer requests that have been put in here, and all of those requests that you hold in your heart. And I would like to read these words from Nancy West Patrick, because it is a prayer for world peace. And I think that's something that we very much need to pray for. So, close your eyes. Let us open our hearts in prayer for the healing of the world. Let us surround our community with love and light. And now surround our country with love and light. And then surround our planet and world with this love and light. Let love, light, and peace prevail. And so it is. Thank you, God. Amen.
these days I'm just gonna toss me out this platform. Right here on one of these chairs. So good morning, everyone. It seems appropriate, we've gone back a little bit in time, we're just gonna bring some others. Love is my decision to you this morning, if you would stand with us, and it seems so appropriate after the prayer that Nancy did, that love is truly a decision, isn't it? It's a decision to give of our hearts. No one else can tell us where to start, but instead of making a decision that we're gonna change our own mind to love today. So just join with us.
Is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Join each other in a hug or a kiss or a shake or a handshake. It's a beautiful day today. Good morning, everyone. And once you're done with all your greeting, just remain standing so that we can do our statement of need. There we go. Yes. Morning, morning, morning.
God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am never one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
And you can see it.
As we now enter our 5 basic principles, is there anyone who would like to share today from how these demonstrated in their life this past week or at some other time? All right, Maya.
So, morning, everybody. Good to see you. I hope you enjoyed practice summer. Indeed. All right, so this Thursday and Friday, we had our annual prayer chaplain retreat. And, excuse me. And we talked about prayer and how that works for us, how that works rippling out into the world. And as such, we talked about all 5 of those principles. How God is, and God is whether or not we're directly praying to God or whether God is doing what He's doing for us. And then I am. I love that phrase, and over the years I've learned to really make it mean something. I am. As are you. And then I think, well, now I have a broken thinker, so I have to ask for help all the time. It's not that my thinker doesn't work, it just doesn't go in the direction I want it to. Most of the time, I have to really relook it. And so it's always good to be reminded that that's a principle. You know, it's not just something that occasionally I think I need to do. I pray, and yes, I do. And as prayer chaplains, we talked about who, what, when, where, how, and why. Why do we do all that praying? And it's all about goodness in our hearts, for ourselves, and then rippling right out to you, them, and the greater world. Don't forget our mother, Mother Earth. And then lastly, I do. And so what that means is I have to put my leg powder where my mouth is and practice these, well, from another stream, practice these principles in all our affairs. There's nothing that prayer won't help. So we had a great time, had some really good talking and some really good praying, and we were and are blessed, as are you. Sure. Okay. What I wanted to share, the Tuesday discussion group has heard this already, that I was struggling. My best friend from elementary school through high school, and she lives in Annapolis, and she's an architect, an artist, an author, all those good things. Well, she was going to Corning, which of course is where I grew up and where her dad was an architect and an artist. So she wanted to honor him, and there was a community church there, beautiful church, that Joe, her dad, had designed. And she gave a talk for 20 years of his life in those roles. And I thought, oh, we can't go, we got the craft show Friday and Saturday, gotta get ready, blah, blah, blah. Just can't do this. Well, the discussion group, something triggered for me, and I said, okay, I'm listening to God. Get out of the way, man, so you don't need to think about why you can't. Because you can. It's all about love and expressing that love. So we went, we had a wonderful, it was amazing how many people were there, and we ate lunch with several of them, and I got to reconnect with her. So it's all of those.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the I do. I got on my way, and we went, and we had a good time.
Nice.
All right, let's move forward with the daily word. Today's word is friendly. I greet others with a friendly, open heart. The Bible contains many stories that encourage hospitality towards strangers. For instance, Jesus welcomed everyone into his ministry, from the hungry and the sick to the strangers and social outcasts. He loved unconditionally. That same loving energy is within me. When I greet others with a friendly smile, I am not only sharing one of the greatest lessons of Jesus, I am expanding my world and giving myself a chance to learn and grow. If I feel hesitant meeting new people, I remember how it felt to be welcomed by friendly people when I was new to a school, job, church, or town. I was grateful for those people who extended themselves in friendship to me. These memories inspire me to be friendly now. From Matthew 25:35, for I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. So remember the power of the smile. To anyone, total stranger, you're walking into a store or passing somebody, just smile. It's infectious and it makes you feel damn good. So remember to smile. Thank you. Essie, do you want to come pray over the prayer box?
We bless the prayers of all of the people who pray. We honor them. We honor the prayers that all of you make, for they go straight into the universe. They go straight into the heart of God. We bless these prayers. We honor them. And we say they will be answered in some way. They will be answered.
Yes.
And so it is.
So let's just say in that place of faith and blessing and having long our decision today. Hold our Natasha in prayer. She's the first step is making her transition. So she's taking herself to drive behind one be with her. And I'd love to hold our city in prayer today.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are, and all you do, is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are, and all you do, is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am, and all I do, is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am, and all I do, is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, We are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. Is a blessing to the world. Is a blessing to the world.
Little Mr. Rogers routine.
Yes.
Winter's back, but it's not that cold. So, the series for this month is Signs and Wonders, Signs of Wholeness. And signs and wonders have always had a special fascination for me. Those tales of magicians and miracles, fairy tales, tales of the supernatural and ghost stories and occult mysteries, people with superpowers, all those imaginative leaps of science fiction and wild flights of fantasy, both high and low. Generally, what real book nerds call SF, speculative fiction. And I can't tell you, I've lost track of how many copies I've picked up and loaned out and lost or given away of Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. And if I were, as a kid, there in the nonfiction stacks, I'd be in the Dewey Decimal 001, for any of you who are hip to that still, the unexplained phenomena. So that'd be the UFOs and the haunted places and the Bigfoots and the Bermuda Triangles. The other SF, speculative facts. So those were my favorites, the ones that make you wonder, what if? Speculative. Speculative. They make you speculate. Anything that offers a glimpse beyond into that more luminous and mysterious world than the humdrum day today, that 9 to 5 tax filing, gas station, deli meat sandwich kind of reality that we live most of the time. There has to be more to the world than that. And we know it even when we can't put it so artfully into words. So partly this was my own coping mechanism, right? As a thoughtful, sensitive boy, this was a clumsy dodge away from the harsher, rougher edges with all the awkwardnesses and disappointments and frustrations. I turned towards something I'm particularly good at, which is reading. Ah, yes, he wants to avoid real responsibility and escape into books. And there's some truth in there, for sure. But as author Ursula K. Le Guin says, herself a master of speculative fiction, the oldest argument against speculative fiction is both the shallowest and the profoundest, the assertion that SF, like all fantasy, is escapist. It's worth answering, but the best answer is already given by Lord of the Rings author Tolkien in an essay about the uses of fairy tales. Yes, he said, fantasy is escapist, and that is its glory. If a soldier is imprisoned by the enemy, don't we consider it his duty to escape? The moneylenders, the know-nothings, and the authoritarians have us all in prison. If we value the freedom of the mind and soul, if we're partisans of liberty, then it's our plain duty to escape and to take as many people with us as we can. The stories that we tell about ourselves and about the world shape not only what we think is real, but what we believe is possible at all. For as creative beings, if it is true that we are, in some sense, expressions of divine mind, we are not merely receivers of the stories given to us, but participants in them. We may not be the sole author, but neither are we only their audience or only a character inside of them. We are at the very least a co-author of our experience. So we're always choosing, moment by moment, whether we notice it or not, what we attend to and what we pass over, what questions we permit ourselves to ask, what possibilities we're willing to entertain. And in this way, we decide what becomes visible to us and what remains quietly outside our frame. What has to be explained and what we're willing to leave unresolved. Now, as a young little Jake, my family was goaded and dragged along to Protestant services every Sunday by my mother, nearly, though not as quite as often as we were sat down on Friday evenings to watch Star Trek with my father. And when I was bored in those long and droning services, I'd understandably open the available books to read for distraction and entertainment. And aside from the hymnal, there was really only one other option ready to hand. And the question that really started to push to the forefront of my mind, after clearing some all too predictable, oh so very clever, preteen atheist eye-rolling, is that this book and its stories are a curious mix of genres. I knew that some folks claimed that it was documentary, historic fact, just as straight and true as the New York Times or your high school textbook. That wasn't really a polite topic in that mainline liberal denomination that I was brought to. It was more likely that was the kind of crowd that would demur and suggest we treat it something more like inspired classic literature, just like the Iliad or Beowulf or Shakespeare, important to the canon of Western civilization for the language and imagery and for the general moral teaching. Forget that supernatural stuff. Though when you think again, Beowulf, the Iliad, and Shakespeare are all full of witches, fairies, monsters, and gods, so go figure. For perspectives I had to draw on for understanding this book, I had a lot of Jewish friends, and their parents were mostly progressive reform types and computer engineers to boot, so they didn't have too much useful claim. They didn't have too much literal reality given to those mystical dimensions either. But they did have a claim to some degree of reading this stuff as history. At least that made sense, given all those genealogies and cultural rules that bulk out most of the Old Testament. I had exactly one Catholic friend who told me, as a gleeful schoolboy hiding a secret, that he knew how the world ended, and it's written in the last book. So finally, I had something exciting to look forward to reading from the pew. And although it does have very rich imagery and language and plenty of spooky stuff, the plot is pretty thin. And it's a lot closer to poetry than a proper narrative, so it sure didn't read as history, even future history. What struck me when I was reading the Gospels proper was that, historic or not, the people that wrote the book did so with the pretense that it was some kind of truth. They believed what they were doing. And after that, for a long, long time, people read it as some kind of true. And sure, a lot of that time, they also practiced alchemy and astrology, and they hung garlic up to keep off the vampires and the Beowulfs. And it wasn't too far gone to have old women around a cauldron prophesying the doom for Scottish kings, and so on. But even today, I thought, even today, in this era of the compact disc and the cordless telephone, people read that book. And they took these events as being, if not plausible, then meaningful. Even though today there doesn't seem to be much miracle working, water walking, miraculous healing, and the like. I wondered, and I still wonder, how do people go from generally accepting the possibility of wonder working to generally denying it or being indifferent to it? Why don't miracles happen like they do in Bible times and elsewhere in similar literature? Did the people change? Or did the world change? Or is it something of both? Now, last week, Natasha had us at the pool of Bethesda, and a man waited by this ancient pagan water shrine that housed a spirit that could heal you if you got your timing right. And that's just how the world worked, right? That's what everybody knew, even the Pharisees. They just didn't approve of it, but that's just reality. And still, when the crippled man was healed, the controversy wasn't that he was healed, even miraculously so. It's like when you have an argument with someone, usually a loved one, and the argument isn't really about what the argument is about. Well, really, it's not what you said, it's the way that you said it. And it's not that he was healed, it's the way that he was healed. That's what upsets me. And that's the way, right? The way upsets people. The way of healing upsets people and things that are in the way of that healing, that are around that healing, in ways that they like and ways that they don't like, and sometimes both at the same time. I know that's been true for me my whole life, really, regardless of however I happen to be thinking about the way shower, I got some kind of upset. Maybe you can relate to that. But enough preamble. This week you get another water story. Book of John, chapter 9. Jesus and his whole crew are walking along, and they see a beggar man who's blind from birth. And the disciples do what humans always do when something doesn't fit the nice picture. Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents? The disciples, they're trying, they really are. They've been following for a while, and they're trying to get their head around how things work. But the assumption is already locked in, right? There has to be a reason for this bad thing. Somebody must have messed up. It's time for a punishment. It's either him or his parents, either or. And Jesus just steps out of that entirely. Nope, neither. But that the works of God might be revealed in him. Revealed, like unveiled, like made visible. And then without any buildup or explanation, he does this weird, earthy, almost witch doctor looking thing, which is he spits in the dirt to make it into clay and puts it on the man's eyes. And he says, go wash. And that's it. There's no sermon and no framework. No, let me explain what's about to happen. It just move, and the dude moves. And that's kind of the part that we like to skip, because we want understanding first, and safety first, and an explanation first, maybe a workshop or a seminar first, a few more sessions with the therapist. I'm not quite there yet. I need to understand. Going back to that pool of Bethesda, waiting becomes sort of a way of life. But this guy just goes and washes and comes back seeing for the first time in his entire life. And you'd think, that's great. Now that'll be the end of the story. No. Because now everything gets complicated. Because when someone starts seeing differently, nobody knows what to do with them. The neighbors are like, isn't this he who sat and begged? Others were saying, it is he. Still others were saying, he looks like him. Because identity starts to wobble when healing happens, when real healing happens. When perception changes so drastically, no one knows what's what and who's who anymore. The man said, I am he. And he tells his whole story about being blind and getting spit and clay in his eyes, and he washes and he sees. But then the cops show up. Or the Pharisees, anyway. And they're very salty. Because yet again, the healing was done on the Sabbath. Making a habit of it at this point. So the issue wasn't that a blind man can see. The issue is, this didn't happen the right way. So they question him again and again, and it's basically just him saying, I told you already, you didn't listen. Why do you want to hear it again? You don't also want to become his disciples, do you? So the Pharisees are really salty at that point. Because now it's not just disruption, it's disrespect. People are not following the rules, and they're not even pretending that the rules matter anymore, because they found something that's more present and more real to them. And that's starting to destabilize everything. So the Pharisees escalate, and they bring in his parents. So imagine this, this is the scene, right? You're in a holding cell, you're getting interrogated by the cops, and you're overwhelmed because you've never seen before. This is the first time you've seen light and shadow and color and texture and faces. And then the cops come in and they're like, your mom and dad are here. Okay. So the parents are like, yeah, that's our son. And yeah, he was born blind. But how this happened, we cannot say. And they're like, you know what? This is the line. He is of age. Ask him. It's not just one. It's such a good line. They repeat it twice in the chapter. He is of age. Ask him. He's an adult. He is spiritually mature. He's his own person now. He doesn't rely, as a beggar does, on the things that were given to him only. He now has discernment. He can see. Oh, he's got to speak for that now. He has to take responsibility for his own sight. So the Pharisees, drag him back in, and at this point, he's not playing the game anymore. The line is pretty close to wow, guys, that's amazing. You can't explain what happened. You can't explain the guy who did it, and it's driving you crazy. He opened my eyes, and that's enough for me. At that point, the Pharisees shut it down with pretty much the only way the brittle authority systems ever can when they're losing control over the story. They switch to insult. And they're basically like, you were born blind. You can't talk to us like that. You were born in sin, and we're better than that. You blind guy, get out of here. And they throw him out. At which point, Jesus finds him again, and they get to talking, and they're kind of rapping, and Jesus says, hey man, do you believe in the true spiritual self of every individual? Or, the fullness of the perfect man idea in divine mind? That is to say, do you believe in the Son of God? It's verbatim text, right? And the guy says, oh, totally I do. Do you happen to know where he is so I can go worship him? And Jesus says, you've seen him. You're talking to him now. And the man says, Lord, I believe. And the whole episode closes with Jesus speaking, doing that teacher riddle thing. I came so that those who do not see may see, and those who do see may become blind. Apparently the Pharisees were still in earshot because one of them pipes up, wait, are we the blind ones? And Jesus basically says, if you knew that you were, you might be able to change. But because you're so sure you already see, you're stuck. All right, let's not over-spiritualize this. Well, let's just sit for a second. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. And if not, just soften your gaze. This isn't a performance. Notice your breathing. If you want, you can just make the out breath go a little longer than the in breath. Now, think of one place in your life where things feel not dramatic, but just unclear. Unclear, maybe a little stuck. Maybe a place where, if you're honest, you've got a very good explanation for why it is the way it is. You can tell the whole story. You know the causes. Who did what? What they did wrong. What you should have done. What you should have known already. A very good explanation. And you know why it hasn't changed. Hold that place lightly. Now in the story, nobody asks the blind man for his explanation. Jesus doesn't ask, could you walk me through? Could you show me your past? Tell me your story? He just shows up with him. So just imagine, very simply, that you are not alone in that place that you're holding lightly. You don't have to define it. You don't have to get theological. Just know. Imagine feel into the idea that you're not alone there. And then there's an interruption. Not a full plan, not a light overhaul, not a weekend seminar, just something small. A nudge. Go and wash. So ask, what is the smallest real movement available to me here? Not an ideal one, not the impressive one, just the real step. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's stopping something. Maybe it's starting something. Maybe it's admitting something you've been dodging. Maybe it's enough to just drop the explanation for 5 minutes. Don't analyze it. Because in the story, inside the story, nothing changes. Inside our story, nothing changes until the man moves. Not theory, not certainty, just getting up and washing his face. So internally, see if you can say yes to that one small movement, even if you don't fully understand it. Stay there for a moment. And now just notice, does anything feel shifted, even slightly? No need for fireworks, just a little more light. That's how it starts. That's enough. So if you're ready, wiggle your toes and your fingers. Give your back a little shake. Open your eyes if you like. You do not need a perfect explanation. You probably already have one. What you might need is to see. And that usually starts right about where we are willing to move. Friends, if you've been spiritually nourished here today, I encourage you to circulate that energy through this building, through one another, through all the people who work together to make this thing happen. So we can grow the seeds and tend the shoots, and in the future harvest more. Let's say together our blessing. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It will be poured into your lap, for with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. You mostly know the drill here, but we do have blessings for your week provided by Mina, who just refreshed our supply. Thank you so much, Mina, for that labor of love. Come and receive an affirmation, and if you feel moved to share treasure in the bowl, please do so. Take it away, Sally. Some of you know that I've been working over at the Zen Center, so I've been getting a little more of the Buddhist flavor lately. And one of my favorite things I've always enjoyed about Buddhist services is the blessing that they do, which is to recognize that anything good that we receive out of our practice is really a gift to be released, not to be held on to. Any merit we have received is to be passed on. So in that spirit, I invite us to be sent forth ourselves into the world in blessing and with blessing, as we say our prayer for protection.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God encloses us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, standing on agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace be with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my sorrow's time. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.